So we discussed about the descendants of Priyavrat Maharaj, especially King Bharat. So we discussed about the three forms of Bharat Maharaj, initially as a king, and then as a deer, and then as an Avaduta Jada Bharat. So anybody remembers the specifics of King Bharat? He was a great devotee and why he became a deer?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Um, so once upon a time, Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee and a king of Lord. Was a great devotee of Lord, and he was also a king. So once he was going in the forest, and he found a baby of a deer, who was not with his parents. So he taken that deer to his home, and then the Bharat Maharaj just became attached to that deer, and when he died, he was thinking about the deer. So in the next life he just became the deer, and then when he became the deer, he remembered the past things in his last life, what has happened and why he is now the deer. And then when after the deer he became the Jad Bharata. And that time Bharat Maharaj, that Bharatji didn't talk to anyone. He was just silent, and he was just thinking about the Lord. Just he was thinking about the Lord and praying about the Lord. So once upon a time, the king was going from there, and the king's palki was going from there, and then the one carrier of the palki went from there, and just was going from there, and he uh, um, said to Jambhudvip that please come and hold the palki of the king. So he then holded the palki of the king, and then the king, he was not, just there was some ants on the floor. So he didn't try to. He was not killing the ants. So he just stopped a little bit on the way, and then the king said, "Why are you not carrying me right way? I am king of you. You are living in my empire, and so you have to follow me. Why are you not going on the road?" So he just then said to the king that there are ants, and he gave the information about the Lord Krishna. So then the king just expresses his gratitude, and he just did Dhanvat Pranam to Jad Bharat. Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
very good. So that king is Rahugana and Jadabharat. In between, there was a small part where Jadabharat was going to be sacrificed for Mother Kali. This is before Rahugana came, but Jadabharat wasn't saying anything because he knew that there was no way he can convince a bunch of thieves. So that those people tried to kill Jadabharat, but Mother Kali came out of her deity and she killed all her devotees actually, because she favors Krishna's devotees more than her own devotees. So we discussed that, and Jadabharat was saved by Mother Kali and her associates, and all the bad dacoits were killed by Mother Kali. Uh, so then the story of King Rahugana, Tarunji already told us about the wonderful pastime. So that's where we ended last time. And Rahugana took all obeisances from Jadabharat, who was self-realized, and there ended that chapter. And now we are going to chapter 16, which describes the geography of the universe. So then, so as we see here, Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami are having this conversation, and Parikshit Maharaj only has 7 days to live, so he's understanding everything, and from Sukadev Goswami of what needs to be done. before you end your life. And he's getting all these instructions. So as you can see, a discussion means question and answer. So Parikshit Maharaj, he heard about Priyavrata Maharaj going in his chariot and making 7 tracts of land. So he, based on that, he asks a question. So what are the measurements, name, and characteristics of these lands? So and then Sukadev Goswami is going into the details. So the land part of the universe is called Bhumandala, and he describes it as a lotus flower. In the middle, as you can see, that is Mount Sumeru or Meru. And then all the other tracts of land are like whorls of a lotus flower. So this devotee has, taken all the nice details from Srimad Bhagavatam chapters 16 through 26 and made good diagrams to make us understand how to, what are the measurements, etc. So in the middle, there is this big mountain called Mount Meru. Now, with our eyes, we can't see this big mountain. It's a golden mountain in the center. So, and then we'll also describe the heavenly planets, the subterranean below the Earth's surface. There are many regions. Um, so all these, it's not visible to our eye. Only higher beings can see this. We can only be on the surface of the earth, and that too in Bharata Varsha we are, and we can't perceive the other Varshas, etc., and even Mount Meru. But the details are given in Srimad Bhagavatam so well. So Mount Meru is in the center, and it has 84,000 yojanas. One yojana equals 8 miles. So you can understand, you got to do 84,000 times 8 to understand how many miles high this is. And it's like an inverted cone, as you can see, or like a cone ice cream, as you can see, it is on the middle of this big Bhumandala, or the land area. So that's Mount Sumeru. And in the middle, and then we'll see how there are different tracts of land, or different varshas or regions divided on this disk you see here. That the disk itself is called Bhumandala, and then this is the ocean, the Garbhodaka ocean. So each universe is like a ball described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Um, so there's the land part, and then above is the um, uh, so there are below the land there are it's called subterranean planets, and then there are um, above the earth, or the flat land, and above and below the sun there are many planets. So this diagram is quickly showing that. Now this disk you see here, where this Mount Sumeru is sitting, that in the center part is described in more detail in this picture. So there are 9 tracts of land um, in the center region. So it starts with Kuru Varsha, Hiranmaya Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha. The center is Ilavruta Varsha. And later we'll discuss in Ilavrita Varsha, Lord Shiva is the deity here. And then no male people are allowed there. Only Mother Durga, Lord Shiva, and all Mother Durga's maidservant live in this tract of land. And as you can see, there's Malyavan on the west, there's Gandhamadana mountain on the right, then on the south there's Nishada. So each of these land, they are all part of Jambhudvipa. There are 7 islands created by the chariot of Priyavrata Maharaj. So we're going into each detail, but this center land is divided again into varshas because of all these mountains, and so they are described in very fine detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll see another picture here. So as you can see, this is um, Mount Sumeru or Meru was here. And we are here in Bharatavarsha. There's Mount Himalayas. And then later, all other tracts of land are the heavenly um, lands. We can't see it or perceive with our senses. So science can't prove it to us because science only deals with what we can see, taste, touch, etc. Right? We cannot see these other spiritual lands. So they are heavenly. Eight others are heavenly regions, um, but only Bharatavarsha is manifest to us human beings. Um, but these are all in the flat part of the universe. So now, even more detail is there. Now, if you take Ilavrita where Mount Sumeru is, just that part is again having so many details. There is uh, there's a Kumuda hill, and there's a banyan tree there. There's pure water. Again, none of this is accessible to human beings because Ilavrita Varsha is where Lord Shiva is. And there's Mandara mountain on the right or the east. On the west, there's Suparsha mountain. There's sugarcane juice there, honey waterfalls. There's Kadamba tree there. So there's so much detail given about all this because no, we cannot perceive with our senses, but from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand what is there in these heavenly areas. Um, so just like that, there's a milk river. There is, and the tree here is the mango tree. Um, so all those details are given. And on top of, again, Srila Prabhupada is our Acharya who is trying to make us understand the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says we have to just be satisfied with the statements of the authorities in Srimad Bhagavatam because we can't see it. Science cannot prove or disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll have to appreciate Lord's external energy that manifests the cosmos. And since it's given in great detail in Srimad Bhagavatam, we are able to understand that. And on top of that golden mountain that's like that in that cone, we said, on top, there's actually the abodes of the Lokapalas or uh, the maintainers of the universe. So Brahmaji is there. There's Agni, Yama, Nirti, Varuna, Vayu, Kubera, Shiva, Indra. So above the hill also they have houses, just like some of the humans have um, they have vacation houses and things like that. So above this golden mountain, there are these abodes of the Lokapalas. With the center is Brahma. So Brahma's house there is called Manovati, and the Indra's house there is called Amaravati. So some of these names may ring a bell because they've been used for places in India also. So then we go into chapter 17, which describes about the Ganges, how the Ganga River came into the earth, um, or the flat part of the world, is when Lord Vamanadev he asked for 3 steps of land, and Bali Maharaj had given him as charity. Then Lord Vamanadev increased his size. He came as a dwarf, but his size became so big that with 1 step, he took over the whole world. And the second step, he took over the the regions above. So then there was no place for the third step, and that's where um, Bali Maharaj offered his head. So when the Lord lifted his leg to take over the entire the regions above, he pierced the covering of the universe, and the causal ocean started to flow after touching his feet into the material world. And that's how the Ganges came into this material world. Um, so that beautiful story we'll go over in more detail in future cantos. But for now, you can just understand that um, Vamanadev had opened up the universal covering so that the river can come from the spiritual world into the material world. So Ganga is supposed to be very pure river, and that's why everybody when they go to the Ganga river, they take a dip in this wonderfully spiritual river, and it's especially spiritual because it's coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. Right. So the Ganga's path is from the Kaushal Ocean. It it it, it comes into all the higher planets, the Dhruva Loka, seven stars, because Lord Vamanadev opened that opening, and then on top of that Sumeru mountain, it comes and falls and divides into four, and then comes down and flows to the other regions, the nine tracts of land we were talking about. So each of these four parts, they also have a name. There is Sita, Alakananda. This is the part that comes to the earthly region. Then there's Bhadra and there's Chakshu. And this is all in Jambhudvipa. It's showing the central circle. There's so much detail here, so it's hard to digest all of this. But if you have any questions, I can go over that. But these diagrams helps us understand a little more. The Ganga River comes and falls in the center of the summit of Mount Sumeru and divides into four. You can see Bhadra, Alakananta, Sita, and Chakshu being formed. And we talked about on top there all these Lokapalas, little abodes, and the river flows through uh, four of those abodes. It's flowing through there. Yeah, so as you can see, a Sita part of Ganga flows through Indra's abode here, and it's going through Bhadrasva Varsha. So as we said, the um, the tract of land here, right, Bharata Varsha, um, this used to be called with another name, Ajanaba Varsha. Before Bharat Maharaj, we discussed about Bharat Maharaj, right? And because of him, this part came to be known as Bharat Varsha. And all of these Varshas were named after Agnidhara's sons, and that's a descendant of Priyavrata. And it used to be Ajanaba was the son's name, but then because Bharat Maharaj came and he is very famous for his wonderful activities in the world, the name became Bharat Varsha. Um, so let's just move on. So I came here just to say that these eight parts is the heavenly regions, and this is the earthly region, the Bharatvarsha. So that's what is explained here in right here. It says the opulence of the eight heavenly varshas. There are gardens filled with seasonal flowers and fruit. There are beautifully decorated hermitages, enormous lakes, flowers, birds, and we discussed about a river of sugarcane juice and all these something we can even imagine in this world happens in those heavenly regions, and on the eight track heavenly varshas. Um, so these eight heavenly varshas on um, Bhuloka is also called Bhauma Swarga, because it's in the flat part of the world, but it's heavenly regions, and inhabitants there live for 10,000 years, like demigods, and they have just one child in their entire life, um, and um, and it is like Treta Yuga all the time there. So pregnancy, they describe like animals, they have many kids. Like snakes can have hundreds at one go. Animals, they have kids twice a year, and they have at least half a dozen or six kids at a time, like you can see in dogs. But as the consciousness of the body increases, the number of children is lesser and lesser. So in these regions, they only have a kid in the last 1 year of their life. So all these, important details are given, though we cannot directly go talk to these inhabitants, all these details are given. And uh, then Srimad Bhagavatam describes about all the main people in each of these regions and who their deity or who they are praying to. So in Kim Purusha Varsha, um, Hanuman is always praying to Lord Ram. So um, and then in Hari Varsha, Prahlada is praying to Narasimhadev. In Ilavrita Varsha, Lord Shiva is praying to Lord Sankarshan. So as you can see, all of these, deities in each of these regions uh, are an incarnation or a form of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So here you can see in Bhadrashra Varsha, Bhadrashrava is the son of Dharmaraj. He prays to Hayagriva. Hayagriva is the form of the Lord when he came as a horse head, but a human body. Narasimha we know as a lion's head and a human like body. So Ramaya Kavarsha, Matsya is prayed to there, Kurma in Arayama Varsha, and the Lord's Varaha incarnation is prayed to in Uttarakuru Varsha. So very, very nice description of their prayers are given, but we don't have time to go over all those prayers. One of the prayers is um, by Hanuman to Lord Ram is all the wonderful qualities that Lord Ram exhibited as when he came as Lord Ram is prayed to, and Hanuman says all the good qualities gets gets their quality from Ram. So it's not like since um, Ram became glorious because he had all those good qualities. But since Ram had those qualities, they are getting all the good aspects. So just like when Krishna wears jewelry and ornaments, the ornaments look better because they are on Krishna. It's not the other way. Krishna, only if he wears jewelry, he'll look beautiful. So that's a wonderful prayer by Hanumanji to Lord Ram. And each of these wonderful devotees are praying to the Lord, and each of their prayers are described so well in Srimad Bhagavatam. So here are the details of those. Glorifying Lord Shiva is praying to Lord Sankarshan here. The Lord is worshipable. The Lord protects his devotees, all opulences, and he's the ultimate shelter. Manifests different forms for satisfying the devotees. The Lord comes in his different forms to take care of his devotees. And he's the deliverer of the material existence. So everybody in this world, they're going through the cycle of life and death, and this material uh, existence, and how a jiva can get out is by rendering service to the Lord. So all this is wonderfully described by each of the devotee in each region. So here Lord Shiva is saying, "Oh Krishna, you're unagitated, and you were, dancing on the Kalia snake." And then Lord Shiva also praises Sankarshana, or yeah, Lord Sankarshan as a snake is holding up the entire universe. So we'll describe that in a later chapter that we're going to discuss soon. Um, then, yeah, Lord Shiva is giving us so many details about the Lord. And here, Hayagriva is being praised by Bhadrashrava. Bhadrashrava, this four-headed person, is the son of Dharmaraj or Yamaraj. And he's always worshipping Hayagriva in that region, Bhadrasrava Varsha. So conditioned souls decide to enjoy with wealth, neglecting death. Lord's Maya bewilders every learned sage preacher. So even if you are a very exalted devotee, you have to always pray to the Lord that you won't fall into Maya. So that is described by Bhadrashava to Hayagriva. And here, prayers to Kamadeva by Lakshmi in Ketumala Varsha. Then there are prayers by Vaivasvata Manu in Ramyaka Varsha. He's praying to the Matsya. So we know Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha. So all these are forms of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Matsya is worshipped there by this Vaivasvata Manu in this Ramyaka Varsha. So beautiful prayers by all the devotees. Now we will go to. So, and then there is so all these higher heavenly planetary regions, the 8 tract of land in Jambhudvipa, um, even though there are the higher personalities there, they still like Bharatavarsha, or the earth, the region that we can inhabit, because um, it is very suitable for worship for the Lord. Um, so in the heavenly regions, there is excessive sense gratification because there's so much luxury and comfort. Everything comes to them. They don't have to work for it. So they it's not very easy for them to only focus on Krishna, but they're saying, oh, people like us who are born in the Bharatvarsha, if we take to Krishna consciousness or thinking about Krishna all the time and worshiping him, then um, then we can easily get out of the material world. But it's difficult for them. So they're glorifying the Bharatvarsha there. So they're saying everyone who is a human body in Bharatvarsha has to utilize this lifetime and not live like careless animals and get captured by a hunter. The hunter is death that will come to everyone. And if they just live a life away from the Lord, they're just going to, go through the cycle of life and death. So it's also said that, like, if a person really wants something, a material something, they can still go to Lord, but Lord will fulfill the desire and also remove the desire to have more such desires. So that's the greatest wealth, right? Not having too many desires. So they are praying that we want to take birth like a human being in the Bharatavarsha. So, so that chapter ends with all the description of Jambudvipa. And then, so Jambudvipa is the center here that you can see. This whole ball is the universe. This is the, design that's given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And we just discussed about the center part is Mount Meru and the land around it. the circular land about around it is Jambhudvipa. Um, and there are many other tracts of land created by Priyavrata Maharaj's chariot, and they were all these other ring-shaped lands, and each place is um, there are totally seven tracts of land, and these lands are separated by seven oceans, and the center one is the only one we discussed so far. So there is descriptions of all the other lands also, as you can see in these pictures. Um, each of these ring-shaped land, there is ocean of clarified butter, milk, etc. And eh, and then there is these external mountains. They are called this Loka mountains. Those are surrounding this whole Bhumandala. So all these are given in lot of details in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the center, as you can see, is Jambhudvipa, then is Plakshadvipa, Salmali Kushadvipa, Kraunchadvipa, Sakadvipa, Pushkaradvipa, and there's a golden land, and then there's this Loka mountain that surrounds it. Um, and then there is Aloka Varsha where nobody inhabits, and then there is open space there. So this is the horizontal cross section of the universe is described by this model in Srimad Bhagavatam, and around those one of the mountains we discussed the sun. Again, everything in the universe is given a personality in the spiritual scriptures. So it is described that the sun god is on his chariot going around. So just like all the planets are revolving around the sun. The sun is also moving. So the movement of the sun is described in this next chapter, and that's where your horoscope and everything is described based on the position of the sun and the other planets, the upper planets. So even the position of the sun, moon, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, all that using the science of astronomy is how the astrologer is able to give what what you're going through, and that's why some people go to the astrologer to look at the astrological charts and see what is happening in their life. So this picture is showing you the entire, both the cross section, that is this part, this brown part of the cross section. We discussed about Mount Meru, and the higher um, planets are above the flat part is described here. Saturn, there's the Saptarishi Loka, then comes the Dhruva Loka, Mahaloka, Janaka Loka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. And just like that, there are many regions below the Bhumandala. And they are called Bilaswarga. So Attala, Vittala, Suttala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. And then below the Patala, there are about 28 hellish planets. And it's described in a very ghastly way, all that happens there. And then this is what we were talking about. This whole universe is held on the hood of Ananta Shesha. So Lord Balramji's expansion is Ananta Shesha, and he's holding each universe, which is like a ball, on his head. And there are many universes, so each universe is just like a small mustard seed on his head. So all these details are given so well in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, we just like the scientist gives us different constellations and uh, the big bear and things like that. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is describing that it's like Shishumara. Shishumara means a dolphin, the different stars and constellations, and it gives a lot of solace to the sage who is um, meditating on Shishumara. Okay. And then here is more details about the subterranean planets that we discuss, Attala, Vittala, Suttala, and it's called Bilaswarga. The sun doesn't shine here, but it is lit up by the jewels on serpents in these regions. Um, and then there's a description of the hellish planets. Like, okay, Lord Ananta holds the universe on his head, and at the time of destruction, he destroys this whole universe. At the end of one kalpa, we said one day of Brahma, everything is destroyed. Um, No, so there is partial destruction and full destruction. That happens at the end of Brahma's life. Now, below the Patala, we talked about 28 hellish planets. So, the description of all those hellish planets are described in this chapter, chapter 26, which is the last chapter of this canto. Um, and Sukadeva Goswami tells a person who lives in the mode of goodness, a religious and happy life is in the mode of goodness, and who lives in passion, a person who lives in the mode of goodness or sattva is happy. A person who lives in passion has mixed misery and happiness, and who is in ignorance is always unhappy. Um, and it's like more of an animal life. And based on all the activities that a person do, they go to these different planetary systems, and that's also described in great detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. I can tell you um, one of these planets is called Kumpipaga, and there in Kumpipaga, uh, all the Kumbhi they are all these bad people. They're cooked in boiling oil. It's described. So it starts with Tamishra. So they're chastised, beaten, and starved of food and water. There's Anda Tamishra, where they're thrown down. There's full of pain. And there's Raurava. There are animals called Durus that try to, eat the bodies of these souls who are real criminals when they go there. And Maharaurava, there are Kravyadas are the animals that tear and eat the flesh. We discussed about Paka. So that there's lot of description of what happens in each of the hellish planets. Um, that's located below the Pathala Loka, and all of them are described in a lot of detail there. So actually, this is giving the topic for the next canto, sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, because when Parikshit Maharaj hears about the suffering in all these planets, he is saying, "Oh, um, what, why, how does a person go there, and how are all bad person? Do they have no hope?" And then then Shukadev Goswami describes about Ajamil, and all that we'll discuss in the next class, which is most probably going to be only on the 31st of December at this point. So we'll conclude with Canto 5, Canto 5 here, and go into Canto 6 in our next class on 31st of December. So now we can go into the Kahoot if nobody has any questions. Sorry, we're already at time, but we can quickly finish this. There are only 11 questions. So if all of you can stay, I'd be very happy that we can complete this. The pin is 5271395. Hey, Tarunji joined. Radha Kaitraji is joined. Tarunji usually has issues joining, but today he's the first to join, and Nitinji has joined. Hemanji, very happy to see you in the call. Would you be joining? Looks like you joined. That's Mr. F. Okay, first question is, how many tracts of land is Jambudvipa? 1, 2, 9, 5. Yes, 9 is the right answer. And yeah. How many lands and oceans in the horizontal cross-section of the universe, Bhumandala? 7 is the correct answer. Very good. The horizontal cross-section of the universe, or Bhumandala, is described as which flower? Rose, lotus, marigold, lily. Lotus. Very good. Okay. Where is Mount Sumeru or Meru situated? Jambudvipa, Ilavrita within the world of Kesarachala Mountains, all of the above. All of the above is the right answer. It is Jambudvipa is the big island in the middle, and in the center where Sumeru is, that place is Ilavrita. So, and then there's a whirl of Kesarachala mountains. All this is within Ilavrita. So it's all of the above. But so all of you are correct. Best answer is all of the above. Okay. True or false? There is a township of Lokapalas, Brahma, Vayu, Kubera on top of Sumera mountain. On top, is it true that they all have houses? Yes. Very good. Sixth question. Who pierced the universal covering that caused the Ganges to enter into material universe? Hayagriva, Vamanadeva, Narasimha, Kurma. Yes, Vamanadeva. When he asked for the 3 steps from Bali Maharaj. This was that pastime. Okay, 7th question. River Ganges divides into how many rivers on top of Sumeru mountain? 4, 3, 2, 5. 4 is the right answer. Okay, out of the 9 tracts of land, how many tracts of land in Jambudvipa constitutes the Bhauma Swarga, heavenly regions? 1, 8, 3, or 6? It is 8 because there are totally 9 tracts of land created by those mountains. Like Ilavrita is in the middle, and the southernmost one is Bharatavarsha. That is the only earthly place. Everything else is heavenly. So 9 minus 1 is 8 is the right answer. Okay, in Kim Purusha Varsha, Hanuman prays to Lord Ram that all good qualities give quality to Lord Ram. So correct answer is false because, Lord Ram give quality to all the good qualities, not the other way around. Um, but it's actually correct that Hanuman prays to Lord Ram, but what he's praying was the part that was false. Uh, it was slightly confusing, so that nobody got that right. Second last question. The heavenly planets below the surface of Bhuloka is called Bilaswarga, Bhuvarloka, Apoloka, Janakaloka. We talked about serpents lighting up those regions, and they're places of lot of luxury and enjoyment, actually. Yeah, that's why it's called Bilaswarga. Okay, Tarunji has come to second place. Nitinji is first place. Last question. Let's see if any of this changes. Last question for today. Lord Anantashesha holds the universe on one of his hoods, where the universe is compared to a dash seed. Mango, tulsi, mustard, strawberry. Yes, a mustard seed. You know your parents put mustards in the oil, and you know that black seed that is so small. So that's how we can understand the whole universe with all the details we discussed is just a size of mustard seed for Ananta Shesha, and is resting on the hood of Ananta Shesha. Let's see who's on the podium. Third place goes to Tarunji. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Second place goes to Hemanji. And first place goes to Nitinji. And Radha Chaitra is in fourth place. With all of you are winners because you heard about the wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam and Canto.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Danvartana. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna Prabhu.
a minute.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna.